Welcome to What's the Effort?
What the F?
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. I am very excited to be here today because I have Eddy Charger.
What's up?
What's up?
What's good, everybody? Thank you. Welcome. This is
Welcome.
cool.
All right, everybody. You know what I'd like you to do as soon as you get here? Just frickin' drop that fire for Eddy. Don't sit around on your hands. You can say hi to each other, that's okay. But I'd like to see some fire in the chat and show us that you are here. Who is here? Oh, hello, Vanessa. Thank you.
Look at this. All these people. Jeez.
Woo! Way to go. Well, let's get that fire going for Eddy. And I want to say thank you for coming. And we have a great show for you guys today. I've asked Eddy to come on, and I've asked him to talk to us about what it used to be like before he was in real estate and how he got to where he is right now. Hello, Melissa. So I'm going to pass it over to Eddy. I'd like to hear his beginnings about where he was before and how the heck he got here.
What's going on? Oh my gosh, look at all these people. Heather is here. Melissa. Effie, I gotta say thank you so much for inviting me on here. It's truly an honor to be spending this time with you and obviously the people that care for you and love everything and anything that you do, whether it is making money in real estate, being a gator lender, and getting everybody together and organizing that community, or jumping out of a plane 18,000 feet the day of, right? Talk about peer pressure. You have this thing about you where you attract people to you because of how amazing you are. So for me to be here, it's truly an honor. I'm super excited to be here and share a little bit of my story, and more importantly, be able to give some game or share some advice on things that people can be able to do to make money. I think that's the most important thing. My story is great, right? But it's really just great to me. It's my story, right? I think that everybody else is just
Great to you.
it's another story, right? So before we leave, I definitely want to make sure I help as much as I can so that you guys that are watching could get some gain from this and make some money, right? So the question was, what was I doing before real estate, right? So where was I before real estate? And I've always been an entrepreneur. So before I became an investor, I was actually working several different jobs, trying to make things work, right? You know, when you're an entrepreneur, you're like all the way entrepreneur until it's like, this isn't working. I need to make money before I starve. And then you go get, whatever the job is. And I have collected jobs in my time frame until I got into the batch where I really start to understand what is it that I want, what I'm trying to do and accomplish, stuff like that. But when I originally started, believe it or not, I was in school for pharmacy. I was in
Pharmacist. You were going to be a pharmacist?
Yeah. I went to, I'm originally from New York, and I went to school at Temple in Philadelphia. And I was
Yay, Temple. I used to live in Philly.
Oh man, it's a great place. Love my time in Philly. I was actually the youngest kid there working in the pharmacy department in their actual pharmacy as an intern. And it was like an amazing experience. And what changed for me and how I ended up getting out of there is one day, this lady comes downstairs who at the time working at Temple Hospital, they have all their patients there for like chemo and everything like that. And this lady just so happened to come out of chemo. She was a patient at the hospital. She came downstairs to get medicine. And it just so happens that I was the one that waited on her. And she gave me her insurance, and it was like, okay, let me run this through, make sure everything's good, but don't worry, I'm gonna get you your medicine, because she wasn't looking the best. Like I said, she just came from taking some chemo. And word gets back, her insurance does not improve her. So she cannot get her medicine. And so I remember going back to my the head pharmacist, a gentleman by the name of Daryl, and I was like, hey, look, is there anything we can do? Because I don't have the heart to tell this lady who could be my mom that I can't give you your medicine that's supposed to help you for after you having this procedure
Right.
and give it to you because your insurance company deemed that you weren't, you're not able to get it, right?
That's terrible.
And he told me straight up, he said, listen, I understand how you feel, but that is the business of things. This is how it works. And so at that point is when I made the decision that if I'm going to be in business, right, I'm going to be in business to help people as opposed to, what I was currently being subjected to. And so ever since then, I've shifted, got into several different like side businesses. Like my cousin and I, we ran a huge landscaping company.
In Philly or New York?
This was in Philly. And then we also had I used to build computers and stuff. Like I'm super techie, so I used to build computers. We used to go to New Jersey. They used to have these shows where all these different computer companies, tech companies would come and they would like sell parts. And I would go with my cousin. We would buy all the different parts and we would build computers from scratch and sell them. Right. And so that was a great business. We have tons of fun doing that. And then my parents are from they're immigrants from the islands, and my mom wanted to get involved into a business. It was a network marketing company, and she was like, "Hey, listen, I want you to help me in this company because I don't speak English. So you got to come. You have to join so that you can translate to me everything that's being said, and then we go out." And mind you, at the time, this isn't my dream, right? Like I had my goals. I was doing great with my cousins. We was building computers. We was landscaping company in the summer and the fall. So I was good, right? But and I secretly I feel like my mom did that on purpose, right? Because she knew what was going to take place. And in this company, it was the first time I've ever got exposed to people like Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins.
Were they in that group?
Say it again.
Were they in that group your mom wanted to join?
They were. Some of them were in the group. Some of the speakers were in the group, but a lot of their material made it through all the different groups, right? Because a lot of that is based on mindset, and essentially that's probably where I got my love for books and reading and learning and stuff like that from. So that's when things kind of changed for me, right? And since then my mom dropped out, right? It became my network marketing business for her. And then I got into another network marketing company and it just took off, right? It's catapulted, grew a huge, large organization, very successful. And then it got to the point where it's like, okay, now that we have this money, we need something to do with the money, right? Like I don't want to just sit here. I knew too much to just have the money just sitting, right? So I was like, okay, well, what do rich people do with money, right? That's literally. I was like, what? I remember like yesterday, I was sitting down, I was on my porch, and I was like, what do rich people do with money, right? And I remember that there was two main things rich people did with money. They either invested in companies or they bought real estate. So I was like, well, let's go invest in some companies. Let's do stock market. And so I started taking my money, invested in the stocks, started doing different types of investments, and I did very, very well. Like I self-taught. I actually have like pictures my wife took of me just like sitting in front of computers. And at this point in time, I didn't even have like a full setup or office or anything like that. It was like a lawn chair and just like this old Macintosh computer that I had. And I was just learning. I was just like,
wondering what the heck you were doing.
And I mean, that's what it takes, right? And so from there, I kill it. And it was like everything I touched turned to gold, right?
Wow.
Until one day it was the total opposite, and everything I touched turned to whatever blank you want to fill in. That's what it was, right? It just was horrible how bad my investment strategies just started turning. And then I realized one important thing: this is not how I wanted to invest my money. right? I had no backing. So I made a lot of money from one space and I was poured into investing, but I didn't have something else that was continuing to pour the money back in so that I can go invest, right? And so I was like, well, you know what? Real estate is where I really should be at because real estate would allow me to be able to have passive income. Whereas my businesses were doing good, my network marketing company was doing good, but it was still, in a sense, active, right? Like I still had to
Yeah.
actively be part of that in order to make my money. And so I got into real estate, and that's when everything changed. Started doing research, got into wholesaling because of Max Maxwell. I saw one of his videos. I actually went out to his first event that he did in North Carolina by myself because I didn't know anybody. And I was just like, I'm just going to go. Right. And that was the last time I've been to an event by myself. Every event I've ever been to, I've always had like a bunch of people with me, or I met a bunch of people there. And it was just an amazing place to network. But there's when I met my business partner, Ivan Iverson, and we just took off and we never looked back. And that's how I got started
So
in real
you
estate.
started in wholesale then?
I started in wholesaling. Yep, yep.
Do
Where
you
we,
still
we
wholesale?
huh?
Do you still wholesale?
Absolutely, absolutely. Wholesaling to me is a very important part of real estate, right? Because wholesaling is the art of marketing. It's how to be able to find the deal. It's the art of finding a good deal. Now, most people, when you think about it, wholesaling really has two parts, right? There's the art of finding a deal, and then there's the disposition. So if you're going to sign the deal or whatever your exit strategy is. But the first part is the most important part. It's the art of being able to find a good deal. And I honestly, it don't matter what kind of how big you grow, whatever like that. Like all the people that I know that are top tier individuals in this space still have a wholesaling company that is running.
And you learned from who? Max who?
Max Maxwell.
Okay.
Yeah, he was one of the
Sorry,
first.
Max Maxwell, that I don't know you, but maybe I'll interview you one day.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely can connect you. Uh, since then we've become really good friends, so that's cool.
Okay, well, that's great. That's great. So
Hmm.
then you and Ivan started doing wholesaling, and it's still going now. So would you say wholesaling is your number one area? Because I hadn't thought of you as a wholesaler.
I
Sorry.
don't I don't know if it would be my number one. Like I don't look at it in that sense because of what I get from it, right? So for me, wholesaling, my wholesaling business is not just the capital side. I do look at it because I have people that work for me, and I want to make sure that my people. That's rule number one for our company. Like our people get taken care of,
Good.
right? So we want to make sure if you come to work for us, because here's the other thing. I hired people on two sides of the table. We have people that we hire hourly, but the people that we typically hire hourly, they just stay hourly and that's all that they become. Then I have people that get paid just straight commissions. And 9 times out of 10, these are individuals who come and they're like, hey, I want to learn the business. I want to see how it is to operate a business the way you guys are operating. I want to learn from level 1 to level 10 because I want to build my own company, right? And we're like, yeah, let's do it because I started that way, right?
So you don't mind that they're telling you they're going to want to break off on their own at one point?
No, I rather you tell me that you want to break off on your own because two things can happen. One, I can set up what you're learning in a way that you can be able to take everything that you need so you can go start your own, right? And I'll help you along the way too, right?
Awesome.
But if
Awesome.
you don't tell me that, what
Yeah.
happens is I'm pouring into you the wrong way, and so you're not getting the stuff that you want to get, right? Like I'll give you a perfect example. If you tell me that hey, I just want to come work for you, right? Okay, cool. I'll show you how to make cold calls, and you'll be great at making cold calls because I'm really good on the phone, right? But if you tell me that, hey, eventually I want to do my own thing, I want to come learn from you, I'll show you how to make phone calls, but I'll also show you the business behind it. Here's why you need to make so many phone calls. When you have your team, here's how you want to teach your team. I think these things are important that you're not necessarily going to learn unless you tell somebody, here, here's what your end goal is. And it's out of respect, you want them to know like where you're coming from.
Right. Right. And you know what, Eddie? this is a small world. It's a small world. When you get out and take the chance at looking like an idiot because you don't know where the live button is, you
Yeah.
know, you can hit on things unintentionally. So at
Hmm.
the end of this, Rory De Silva loves it. You
What's
know,
up, Roy?
yeah. So I'd like to talk to you more about that at some point because I have somebody in mind that I think might be able to learn from you. Tell me
Okay.
something about the team that you have now. How long ago did you start, and how big are they now? You know, like
Yeah.
who's involved in it? Just briefly.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've had people that's been with me for 2 years now. And
That's
I've had other people who started beforehand and have now grown and have their own business, and we help them along the way. Like, here, okay, cool, you ready to get started? This is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. It, and you know that helps because now they're up, they're running, they're doing great things, and we've done deals together,
good.
right? Like
Yeah.
it's the best thing to be able to do. But I have two people on my team that I mentioned has been with me for about 2 years. One is Ashley, who is amazing. She is my acquisition manager. She came and was like, "Hey, I really just want to kind of learn," and everything I poured into her, she just grabbed, right, and she developed. And what I did is I looked to kind of see, like, a lot of times people would tell you, "Hey, I want to do this," and then when it starts to get difficult, it's like they start fanning off, and life happens. But Ashley wasn't like that. Like, she this is a stay-at-home mom of two kids, and she would show up every single day, ready to learn how to be able to do this business. And since then, she's kind of grown into a leadership role within our company, and I started training her how to be a leader. I
Nice.
started telling her, like, listen, if this is what you really want, I'm going to put you in a position where people will start coming in and they're going to start being trained by you. And in addition to that, when they do well, they all get a bonus. And the way our pay structure is set up is they get a bonus and you get a bonus off of how well they do.
Oh, how nice. That's awesome. That's
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's like, if I'm going to train you for this role, I want you to be able to make money off of it every single time in all the capacities. So it's stuff like that. And then I have Anastasia, who is amazing. She's out in Texas. She typically takes care of our disposition. She does a lot of our JV transactions. Both of these ladies, by the way, they've been with me so long that they understand every portion of the business.
that's great.
Anastasia knows how to do disposition, but she also knows acquisition. She knows how to do, how to comp, how to all those type of things, right?
Very nice.
But then I teach them in a way so that they can specialize in one portion of the business, because you don't want to be jack of all trades, right? Like,
Gotcha.
when I first got started, I thought, oh, okay, yeah. For example, Brent Daniels is somebody that taught me very early in the game. I got started, and I was like, oh, perfect. TTP, Brent Daniels, let's do it. And I was doing every part of the business. Do you hear me? I was doing lead gen, marketing, acquisitions, cold closing. I was doing this, I was doing all of it.
Wow.
Only to find out after the fact that Brent Daniels had a business partner. And his business partner was behind scenes, and I never knew that. I thought Brent was magically doing all of this and still producing content. Same thing, right? Pace Morby. There's
Yeah.
a lot of people that have no idea that Pace has a partner named Cody.
Yeah.
Without Cody, the whole house falls apart. So
Totally.
you
And
have
let's not
to
forget
learn.
Laura, and let's not forget
Absolutely.
Jamil, and
Oh
let's not
yeah.
forget Eddie and Abraham. Yeah, he's got like a world around him. So
You
yeah.
do. You do.
Yep.
And it's so necessary. In order for you to grow, you have to have a team. And more importantly, you have to be willing to allow your team to operate in the space.
Right.
You can't
Totally.
be afraid to, relinquish power, because then
Oh,
you
yeah.
become powerful, but you also stay stagnant.
Yeah. You're a solopreneur. That's
Yep.
all.
Yep.
Now, Eddie, do you guys have VAs also, or do Ashley and Anastasia take care of all of it?
Yeah, so we also have VAs. So here's the difference between VAs, and this is good for anybody that's thinking about hiring some people and want to know which direction to go. So a VA that you would pay per hour, okay, a VA is going to give you consistency. Okay, a VA is going to show up on time, preferably, right? They're going to show up on time. They're going to work their hours, and they're going to do the work that you built your culture around for them
Right.
to do. Okay. Now, a someone that you hire that's a VA for you that's commission based, you have to understand something. And I hear people talk about people who are commissions, and I'm like, look, stop talking bad about people, because here's the thing: these people that are working commission for you, they still have lives. They still have situations that take place. In fact, they're trying to do this part time with you in order for them to be able to make some extra money. Right.
Right.
So what I would typically say, if you have 25 people that are going to work commission based for you, probably one of them is going to stand the test of time and really rise to the top. Right. So you
Wow.
can go either way, but you got to be willing to wait to go through 25 people or so to find the one, or pay up front, pay for the VA. But understand, the VA is only going to give you the hours that you pay for them. So if
Yep.
you hire them for 4 to 6 hours, do not expect your VA to work 8 hours. That is not how they operate. It's not how
Right.
it works,
Right.
right? Whereas my people who work for me on commission, they'll work when I'm not even working, right?
Yes, of course,
They'll send me
because
a message like, "Hey, here's what I got," and I'm just like, "Oh wow, let me get." I didn't know you're still up, right? So it's just things like that.
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, that's interesting because in my experience with you, I know that you're doing a lot of assets and businesses, and I hadn't realized that you also had the wholesaling and that you've kept it going. I when I started, I didn't think I wanted to do any wholesaling, and I don't want to be a wholesaler, but I understand that the importance of leads is so critical
Hmm.
that I'm starting to kind of figure out, okay, uh, how do I get in a JV with wholesalers,
Yeah, yeah.
to help them build and help them do that, because I don't want to be doing that, but leads are so important,
Hmm.
that I don't mind paying a wholesaler that brings a lead, but I think that having a machine that is already going and up, and you vested your time into it and always keeps it coming, means that you don't need to worry about, um, you have that income, the possibility for deals coming in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one of the most important. It's the lifeblood, right? It's what's feeding your business
Yeah.
in order for you to be able to continue. But that's coincidentally, that's how I got started in being a gator, right? That's actually what grew like my gator business, because I was networking with people, right? They were bringing me deals, and it just so happened some of the deals they couldn't put the money down, and they were getting ready to lose the deal, and it wasn't a deal that was in the market that I was interested in, but I knew it was a good deal, right? And so, I really want people to make money. So I'm just like, hey, look, I'll put down your EMD, go find your buyer, right? And then just pay me, whatever we can agree upon. And I typically don't even do like a percentage, because it just all depends. If I say, all right, I'll put down EMD, you give me 10%, but what you're gonna get on your assignment is so small, I'm
Yeah.
eating away your assignment, right?
Yeah.
Like I get it, Gator, right? The big chomp and stuff, but I'm like, listen, I rather you make enough money that it makes sense for you, so that you want to come back and we could do more of these deals, right?
Exactly. I agree. I
That's
agree.
how I started that. And now, we're doing gap lending and transactional funding and stuff like that, just from, looking to help more people make money.
That's awesome. It looks like Gabriela has a question.
Oh, she's amazing. I love
She
her.
says, do you prefer a certain type of commission structure, Eddie? Eddie, hey, Gabriela,
So
Eddie with a Y.
Eddie with a Y. I'm the special Eddie. I'm the only Eddie with a Y.
Yeah, and I'm
So
Effie with the IE.
as far as the commission structure, you got to figure out what works best for your business in order to figure out your commission structure. Some people are very, very different. they want to keep. Well, let me not talk about what they're. Here's my structure is set up. I want my people to make as much money as possible. Now, hear me when I say that. I want my staff, the people who have decided to follow me into battle, I want them to make as much money as possible. And here's why. I want them to be loyal to the environment that I created and that they also find it worth their time because it's paying them well. And the more that I'm able to pay them well, and all those things included, the more devoted they'll be to the company and the relationship that we've built, and they'll start to internalize it as part of their company. I want them to feel that it's part of their company. I'm not opposed to giving my team a percentage of the company. Like, for example, the way one of the things that we have in our business is like this year is the first year that we're actually pushing this out. Us as a company, we're going to buy properties, single family homes, right? And
Right.
what we end up doing is we take, let's say we bought 5 properties, we take the cash flow from those properties, we pay the expenses, and then the cash flows from those properties get put in an account that is paid like an equity percentage. It's paid back to the team as long as the team we hit our our quarterly goals.
Nice.
And each month we continue to buy more properties to put that into it. So imagine you working for a company, and just like if you were working in Google, right? You essentially you would get a quarterly bonus or quarterly bump or whatever like that. Well, why can't we buy properties, set it up in the same format, and as soon as the team hit their goals, they get to participate in the quarterly bonus of 10, 15 properties that has been paying rent for the last 6 months or whatever. Here's the great thing about that. Those same deals are the deals that they talk to the seller on.
Right.
They negotiated it. They made it work. We put it away for them. Again, this is the environment that you want to create. You start building relationships and creating an environment like that, you will not only find winners, but you will find people that will go to war for you. And if you're looking to build a company, you want people to feel like it's worthwhile for them to stay there.
And that loyalty will come because of the fact that you're giving what is very attractive. It's very fair, very good, very positive, a lot more than some others. So yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool to say the least. Wow. So
and here's the thing. I know some people are just like, well, I don't know if I feel like I'm paying them too much. Again, you want to pay your people too much because understand, when you pay them so much and they're performing well, they're going to take away the time that you would have to be involved. So now you get your time back and you can go do something else. Exactly. Whether that's making money in something else or spending time with your family. Like, what was the point of building a real estate wholesaling company in the first place? Like sometimes you got to ask yourself that question because a lot of us have been doing this so long, we forgot. we forgot why we were doing this in the first place, right? We just been hustling and struggling along to build something. So it's like, okay, why did you want to build this? Was it to make enough money so you can spend more time with your family? Then build a company that allows that to take place. Tom Crow said this to me. He said, make sure you build a company that serves you and not you serving the company.
Good. Yeah. Very good advice. Very good advice. And love that too. So talk to me about, aside from wholesaling, which is, I'm so glad you took the time on that. Thank you. What other things are you into, and what do you feel the audience should know? What's important?
Yeah. So as far as like what I'm into, I mean, obviously we still do a lot of wholesaling. We still do buy and holds ourselves. I'm in the multifamily space. Well, actually, let me backtrack. So for the buy and holds, our buy and holds are a little bit different. We can look at any buy and hold, but our exit strategies, our last bottom exit strategy is going to be a regular rental. We rarely look at that. The last thing I look at is a regular rental, and then right above that is Airbnb. But again, those are the last of the last. where I spent a lot of.
Why the effing is that?
What?
Yeah, why?
So here's why. Um, what we're trying to set up, especially for the team, for our company, we're trying to set up something that allows for passive income to take place no matter what happens in the near future, right? In order for that to take place, you cannot rely on an individual. You have to rely on corporations. So for us, all of our exit strategies depend on the government or depend on insurance companies.
Okay.
So if we buy a property, we're going to look to buy cash, or we're going to look to buy creative. And then our exit strategy is affordable housing or Section 8 or VA homes, or we do hospice care, or we do rooming house, pad split, or we do midterm rentals. You know, all those things that I mentioned are either backed by the government paying it,
Yep.
whether that's 70, 80, 90, 100% of it, or is backed by an insurance company. So this way, this allows us to eliminate how much risk we have on what our monthly cash flow would be.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
great. So you're doing Section 8, VA, hospice, rooming, and what else did you say? You missed something.
Pad split.
That's rooming house, yeah.
Yeah, basically the same as rooming house.
Um,
Affordable housing.
affordable housing. There we go.
Now,
Yeah.
I do want to clear that up. Affordable housing is different from Section 8,
Yes, I know.
right?
Yeah,
some
explain
people
that
think
because some people might not know.
Yeah, some people think it's one and the same. So affordable housing used to be the same as Section 8. What happened is what is considered affordable in 2023 has drastically changed. You have people that make very good money but cannot afford housing.
Right.
You also have individuals who were, living in a home and had all their kids with them, and now they're the last one left, and it's a 3-year wait to get into a nursing home or a community home type of thing, right? And so these people qualify now for affordable housing. All right. And even Section 8 has changed drastically. There are a lot of people who need help, right? Like if you look up your city and you look up, availability Section 8, I promise you, you'll be hard pressed to find a city or state that has less than 12 months on their waiting list for
Yeah.
Section 8.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
And I don't know if it's like that everywhere, but in Chicago, they pay more than the market rate.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Did you want me to answer that question?
Yes.
Yes. So yes, that's correct, John. I still underwrite it for long term just because I want to make sure, like, if everything goes away, which is not, right? Like the odds of a well insurance company going away is low, but the odds of the government going away is completely zero, right? But I still want to look at it from that standpoint of long-term rental. And if it makes sense as a long-term rental, then I'm 90% of the way already in, right? It's probably I'm going to buy.
Yeah. But you leave it at the bottom as well as Airbnb. And I imagine that's because with Airbnb, you're relying on the individual versus the corporation.
Correct. Yeah. So for Airbnb, that's exactly correct.
That is effing awesome.
Yeah, it is effing awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that.
It really is. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, and when you're doing that, you're talking about single family or duplexes. You're not looking at multifamily with this, are you?
No. So we'll look up to 16 units.
Okay.
With this, and that's because 16 units is round about the max you can go before they call it commercial space.
Okay.
And so for our multifamily, we have a separate division of our company that does multifamily. So we're looking at our sweet spot's about 40 units or so, but we have a buy box and we'll look at anything from there, 40 to 150 units is our sweet spot. And we buy those properties cash or we buy them creatively.
And who's we? Because it's not me. Not yet.
No, not yet. Even though I have one for you. We spoke about it earlier. We got to talk a little bit more in detail. I think you'll like that one.
Okay.
But no, I have a team, right? I have another team and this is all we do. We just focus on multifamily stuff. So I have, I have an amazing woman named Jen on the team who kind of keeps us all together as far as like what we need to do and when we need to do it. She's also one of our private money raisers on the team. I have an amazing underwriter named Ed. I have this young kid named Jaquel who, I mean, when I tell you his networking skills is like top shelf. Like every broker knows this kid. Like he is the definition of going out to get it.
Is he in
Um,
Florida?
he is no, he's in Atlanta.
Okay.
He's in
Somebody
Atlanta. So my
named
team,
Michelle.
I do have my team in different locations, but on that team I have about 5 people. I have Nathaniel, who's a partner with me on that one. I have Peter, who he's also here based in Atlanta. The point is, I don't try to do all this on my own, right?
That's a very good point
Yeah,
because I am only a single person with a cat. And I want to make sure that I can grow big. And I've already understood that I need to build numerous teams and to
yeah,
JV.
yeah,
So that's
absolutely.
cool. So you've got your wholesaling, you've got your single family, you've got the commercial,
Yeah.
and then you've got the frickin', I mean, the effing businesses too, right?
Yeah, the effing businesses is the best, right? So mergers and acquisitions is what we do. We buy businesses, and we buy cash flowing businesses, and we make them grow even bigger. Um, we recently have purchased a dry cleaning company here in Atlanta. We're in the last talks of purchasing a electric company here in Atlanta. When I mean last talks, like we got the funding in place. It's basically paperwork that needs to get signed. So in the next 2 weeks or so, you guys probably see me post about that. And we're
What's an
looking for more.
electric company? What's an electric company? An electrician, or are you are they producing electricity? What are you talking about?
No, I would love to buy a company that's producing electricity, right? I mean, think about it. My name is Eddy Charger. That would just
I
work
know.
right in line with the brand,
I want
right?
to do windmills. I want to do windmills.
On brand. But no. So it's not that. It's just like electric company. Like, oh, you having issues with, you
Electric.
know, your electricity in the house or whatever you call it. And we typically like to stick with businesses, even though we look at a lot of different businesses, but our sweet spots, I should say, are home-based service businesses. So think about it. No matter what happened, everybody's going crazy with AI right now, me included. Like I absolutely love. I was on ChatGPT just 30 minutes before the show. Okay, so I absolutely love, but I've always loved it, right? Just because of my background. But no matter what happens, we are still a very, very, very long way from robots coming into your home to perform services, which means
I don't want
any.
people to work. I want the robots to do it.
Well, listen, you gotta wait around just a little bit longer,
Well, I got lots of time.
Yeah, just wait a little bit. It's coming. Listen, the stuff that I've seen these things do is just like this. I never thought iRobot was a movie that I can actually see happening in real life, and it looks like it is definitely going to take place. But here's the thing: the businesses that we buy.
Play a pun here or say a pun in
uh,
regards to that's pretty limitless, right?
you better come through, Effie. I see. I'm having way too much fun on here. Listen, with the businesses, we typically just buy businesses that you're gonna need, right? You can have so much software and ChatGPT and all this other stuff, but if your plumbing gets clogged up, you're gonna have to call a plumbing company,
Right.
right? Your electricity. So these are companies that we're buying, and also because we're in real estate, they're a good business to buy, right? These are services that we would ultimately use. So
Right.
for anybody that's interested in like buying businesses and stuff, I would urge you like start with businesses that already interest to you or it's already in your like line of work or what you do,
Mhm.
because you definitely don't want to buy a property or a business, I should say, that you just like hate it after 6 months, right?
Right.
Because
Well,
then
with real estate, you're going vertically, right? You're going
correct.
vertically.
Yeah.
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 So who's we? Who's we? You keep using the royal we, and I am not in business with you yet.
Yeah, Effie, what the F, man?
I
We
know.
got, we need to, we
I
need,
want to know who's my competition. Who's
no competition. No, there's no competition at all, right? Because Effie, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have you join me on the buying single family side, and we're gonna go buy a whole bunch of single families and build up your portfolio. It's gonna be
all
amazing.
right? I'm game.
And that's just because I know you're such a big gator, and you're into investments and stuff like that, and so it works, right? It's in that vertical. But I have a team that I do the buying businesses with. We call it New Element Investors. I have like a rock star team in that as well. Mona is one of the individuals. She like honestly, I feel like she walks on water. She's amazing. She talks to the sellers. She can get things on the contract and make things move. Her relationships that she has is amazing. But it's a full team, and it's ran just like our wholesaling company. So we have acquisitions. We have I have two CPAs. We have two attorneys that are on there. In fact, my business partner in the real estate space is also one of the attorneys in the in the buying businesses, right? So things like that we have. We have a team that's outsourcing deals for us and stuff like. So again, it's all about being able to have the right team to put things in place, right? You can accomplish anything. If you follow me on social media, you'll see a post that I pulled that it was just like there's nothing you can't do. Like if you were to sit down and just write down everything that you want, there was no limit to what you wanted, right? And you just wrote down everything that you ever wanted with no regard of that of what you can or cannot accomplish. You could look back at that list and realize that wow, I really could have this life.
Oh, I know.
There's
In
nothing
unpacking my boxes, I came across something that was a folder, a manila folder that said reality board. And I thought,
Wow.
reality board, what was this one? What did I have in here? And I opened it up and it was a Tempur-Pedic bed. And I remember, oh yeah, I had wanted it from way back yonder because it's
Wow.
been set up, I guess, a week and a half ago. So
You
it's
see
kind of,
that?
I was
You
like,
see that? I'm
oh, well,
telling you.
I gotta find the one with the castle because I know I have one with the castle.
There
Oh,
is power. There is power in being able to write things down and just go after it.
right,
And you got to do it with the right team.
right.
John, how many people are all of my teams total? Oh, that's a great question. I would say from all the different businesses, I probably have a total of 25, 30 people
Wow.
on the teams right now.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So did we miss any of your businesses so far? Because you've got mergers and acquisitions where you have dry cleaning and electricians or
That's a
service
company.
homes. You've
Uh-huh.
got single family, you've got the multifamily, you've got wholesaling.
Yeah.
And your social media too must be bringing in some stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah. So the way that I've been able to make sense of it, all right, I look at it like a triangle, right? So if you think of a triangle, it has three points to it. The
Hmm.
top part is where I have my single family and my wholesale company. The bottom is where I have multifamily, and it's really just commercial space because multifamily, RV parks, storage facilities, those all fall into that category.
Are you into storage facilities?
Yeah, we are. We're looking for some.
Oh, I have somebody else, someone that you need to talk to for sure. Okay?
Okay. Effie, what the F? Why you haven't made that connection?
Because I am one of the things I have realized that even though I don't know everybody as deeply as I want to, like honestly, Eddie, I adore you. I've liked you from the moment I met you or before I met you, but I didn't realize that you're this deep, which is really, really, really awesome. I'll not, it doesn't change how much I like you.
I was about to say, oh no.
I still like you the same. But what happens is I'm always thinking about different people
Right.
and, how to help. And yeah, if you're looking for storage facilities, I think there's going to be a tit for tat that I can put you in touch with. Someone that
Okay.
you can help and that can help you.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'll be in the middle. I'll be like, both of you have to do business with me.
No, you have to be in the middle. I don't like doing business unless everyone that's involved, even if it's a deal that's like there's not enough money to be made, like with all parties involved. I'm like, okay, that's fine. The next one you have to get. Like I've had deals where I've stepped away and still made the connection so that they can get paid, and I'm
Right.
like, catch me on the next one. Like
Exactly.
I'm in a position where I'm looking to build relationships, right? And my ultimate goal, and I say this ever, my ultimate goal is I can call Effie, I can give you a call 5 years from now, and I
Mhm.
can say, hey Effie, I got this deal. It's gonna cost like $1 million each person, but I think it's really good. I'm gonna send you the details, and you cut me off, and you're like, what the f? Like what? Why are you even calling me? Don't call me. Call my assistant. My assistant knows if you're calling about a deal that I'm already on board. In fact, instead of calling me, why aren't you just bringing your kids over here and let's go to dinner next week? Like those are the relationships that I'm focused on building today for
Yeah.
5 years from now. So
Yeah.
in order to do that, we can't be pissing back and forth on like, well, I need to make sure I get my assignment fee of three
I
thousand, five
completely
thousand.
agree.
Like, what is that in the grand scheme of what the type of relationships we're gonna have? So for me, it's
Exactly.
very important to make sure that I take care of my people and we're building the right relationships.
Right. I completely agree. I completely agree. I need to get a place in Atlanta because there are just too many good people there. I need to
You
have
have
a
to
place in Atlanta for sure.
listen,
Absolutely.
Thomas. What's up, bro? I'm glad. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. But no, listen. I've been, and I'm gonna be more outspoken about it. But I've been secretly recruiting a lot of people to Atlanta from sub two. I am going to build the next best place to be able to do real estate outside of Arizona. It's going to be Atlanta. So
Okay.
if you guys want to come on, come. I got a couple. What I'm saying. She's like,
Naomi?
no, I'm super petty. My nickname is Petty Eddie around some of these parks. So I'm just telling you, like, I just think Atlanta is such a special place. We have like really, really good people here,
I've heard the
and
same thing. I've heard the same thing.
yeah, it is.
That's what I found is that the people that I meet there are really nice for sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, well, that would be cool. I want to hear more about that for sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
no, we should.
Yeah.
And we can buy you a sub two house. You don't even have to stay there all the time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it has to be creative. I don't want to be doing anything that's not creative. I feel that I've watched and learned and have seen it done enough times that I can do it. I can do it. Wait a minute.
No, we will do it.
The nation on that was wrong. I can
No,
do it. No, I can effing do it.
there you go. Here's the better one. I want you to say, I am effing doing it.
I
Right?
am.
You are effing doing it. In
I am
fact,
effing doing it. And
here's
one
what
of
I'm
those
gonna
things
promise
will be
you.
with you.
I was just about to say, I'm gonna promise right here live that we're gonna buy a deal creatively and we're gonna add it to your portfolio, and that'll be one of the first deals that we do.
Awesome.
That'll be one of the first.
Awesome.
I
Just
have
in my
a.
current portfolio, I have none.
Okay, so we're gonna change that.
That'll be the first one if we can do it. But I've already got somebody else working on one that we're working together, so it'll be a race.
There you go. There you go. Put more in there, right?
Yeah.
This is a really good time to start building, that portfolio, and just have cash flow coming in, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm very excited about that. There's no doubt. There is
Yeah,
no doubt. Yes, John is so right. So right about
sorry,
that.
I am absolutely,
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely,
So I want to ask a philosophical question, if I may.
absolutely, yes.
You accomplished a lot, and I'm very, very proud of you. And um, you know, it inspires me, and I need to, do as much as I can to get moving more because of people like you. But how do you hold yourself accountable to your own goals? Like
Yeah,
you set a goal,
great question.
and you've got all these different goals, so you didn't set them all at once, did you? I mean, when you set a
Mhm.
goal, how do you make sure that you do it? Because there are a lot of distractions.
Yeah,
Although Oh, guess what I decided?
What?
I've been
Wait, as you talking about, there are a lot of distractions. You get distracted.
because it's a distraction.
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
Living at my daughter's, while I was living at my daughter's, they have a TV, like most people do. And I haven't had a TV in about 15 years. I've only used the internet for any kind of, like Netflix or news, anything like that. And my daughter said, you have to get a TV for your guests. And I said, okay, I'll think about it. And I decided I'm not having a TV.
Good job.
I'm not having a TV because it's just awesome to only have a number of large monitors and it makes me think. And I'm
Yeah.
constantly doing things in the way of thinking. And if I'm not, doing on here, I'm doing I like gardening, in my yard or in my house.
Yeah.
And I'm not sitting idly in front of a TV, which I consider to be one of the biggest distractions in America.
Absolutely. Besides TV and this thing, right?
I agree. The small TV.
The smart TV, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Tell me how hold yourself accountable. How do you do
Yeah.
it?
So holding myself accountable is something I've been like working on. Awareness, I think, is the first step in being able to hold yourself accountable. You need to be aware of who you are and where you are in your life. We were just talking about like the phones being a distractions. Social media is one of the biggest killers to people being aware of themselves,
Mhm.
because at all times you're always going to be comparing yourself, right? Even if you go on Facebook, you can be focused all day long and then go on Facebook and see somebody else close a deal today, and now you're comparing yourself to their success, even though you don't know the full picture. And now all of a sudden, you kicked yourself down a few notches, like, oh man, I gotta step it up. And it's like you got to be aware of yourself and where you are and who you are. But I think that's the first step in understanding how to hold yourself accountable. Because once you do that, now you know what to hold yourself accountable to, right? Are you holding yourself accountable to your standards and the things that you want to accomplish? Or are you holding yourself accountable to other people's success and what you see other people have or other people is doing? Because one will lead you down despair and just straight sadness. And unfortunately, it's the world that we live in, right? So for me, I hold myself accountable by every day, and I don't do this every day, right? I try my best to do it as often as possible on a consistent basis. But I'm human, and some days you are going to miss, and I want to give you guys the leeway to understand that some days you will miss. It does not make you any less superhero than you are, right? But every day I get up and I write in my journal, the things that I'm grateful for, the things that I want out of life, and understand the order that I said things. I first say what I'm grateful for, then I talk about the things that I want in life. Again, awareness. If you don't figure out what you are grateful for in life, it doesn't matter what comes your way, you will never be happy. I think everybody here knows about other people who have gotten large amount of success but are extremely unhappy. It's because they've lost the art of being grateful. And it's something that you can suffer from. You can make millions of dollars, or you can make $10 and you can still lose the art of being grateful. So I always think about what I'm grateful for. I think about what I want out of life, and then I start thinking about the people. And this is one of the other reasons why I love to build teams and have other people involved, because like Anastasia, I know about her. I know about her life and her story and what she's looking to accomplish. Ashley, I know about her. I know about her two young kids, right? I know about her husband. Those are my family members now. So on the times when I don't feel like doing something, because you are human, you are gonna not feel like doing something at one time.
Yep.
On the times where I don't feel like doing something for myself, I won't do it. But statistically, there is something that says that people will do more for other people than they'll do for themselves. So I hold myself accountable by putting those other people in front of me. I put them in my way, right?
Right.
A lot of times people would say like, "Oh, your family should do that for you." The truth of the matter is, Some people, some of you will let your family down before you let down someone else. And that's not, I'm not here to say that's good or bad. I'm just saying a lot of times if you don't succeed, there's someone else in your family that will hold you and make sure things go smooth, right? Like if you don't get a deal this week, you're not gonna be out on the street next week, right? But if your teammate or if your person that's working for you is telling you, hey, I really need to see if we can close a deal this week, you will go above and beyond to make sure that that takes place, right? And so that's how I've been able to hold myself accountable is by going through those procedures and making sure that like I'm doing it enough where like it just becomes part of who I am, right? And it's all level.
Right, because if you care enough to make sure that the people you are bringing on are going to stay with you and be loyal, even when they want to grow and have their own business, that you would be doing business together. Then if they ask you to do something, or they have an expectation, I'm sure that it's almost like a joy. It could be considered a burden at times, but still a joy to do it. And
absolutely.
Yeah, and I find that when people ask me to do things, I'm like, I'm on it,
Yeah.
And then I'm like, wait, you have things to do. Doesn't matter. I'm on this because I'm a person.
It's crazy, right? And I'm very, very big on like human psychology, NLP, stuff like that. I just love the way the mind works. I've always been interested. But that's actually like a cognitive bias, is what it's called, right? It's like when somebody requires something from you, you're more incentivized to do it for them, to help them than you are yourself, because it's just how it works. And then you have this like cycle takes place. So, oh, Effie did this for me. Now, when Effie types, hey, I'm looking for somebody who can, you're just like, oh, I got you, Effie. I know, because now you just instinctively want to be able to return the favor of doing something good for somebody else, right? It's the common thing where we see, like, if you're walking out of a door and you hold the door open for somebody, and that person that you held the door open for has someone else behind them, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna hold the door open for them only because of what you did.
Exactly.
Right? It happens all the time. Or like you go to the Starbucks line and be like, hey, I want to pay for the person behind me. And then they pull up and like, hey, I want to pay for the person. And then it becomes this like thing, right? And then, you get that one jackass that's like, oh, I'm just paying for myself. But nonetheless, right?
And then you get the guy who comes in and goes to the front of the line and says, I'm going to pay for everybody. And you know who that is.
Yeah.
Nice.
There you go. That's a doing right there, right? Like, look at my dad. Look at my son. My son is awesome, man. So that's the thing, right? Look at like Pace, Jamil, man, there's so many people out in Arizona that does the same thing. Jerry, like these guys, Brent Daniels, these guys don't have businesses together. Like Pace and Jamil are best friends. They don't have a business together. They have the TV show, but they don't have a business together. But they've helped each other's businesses so many times in so many big ways. That it's like, when you think about it, according to like you and a wholesaler, like, what are we arguing over? 3,000, 13,000 wholesale fee?
Yeah.
Like, let's do this.
I agree. And that's what the culture, of course, is in sub 2. And I think that's pretty awesome. That really is an important thing. We are at an hour, but I'd like to ask, is there—
It's been an hour already? Wow, we've been having
an hour, I know. And I am willing to go over a little bit. If there's anything that you'd like to say to our audience, any last minutes or anything?
Yes. I would like to say one thing, like in this space that we're in right now, where you might be feeling discouraged or you might be feeling like uncertainty on like how your business is going, the number one thing you can do is to not give up, right? You will figure it out, okay? And it will get harder, but it's supposed to get harder, okay? This is not simple, it's not easy. Even though, we do a really good job marketing it and putting it on social media so it looks like it's simple and easy, but it's definitely not. All right. But it doesn't mean you can't do it. and it can't be done. And what you want to do is you want to connect yourself and stay networked, with people that are willing to give, like Effie, for example, right? Her doing this podcast and bringing guests on the show to kind of just give you insight to like what it's like. That's amazing, right? And you want to be able to connect with people like that and people in your network to be able to make that happen. The second thing I would tell you is you guys got to get to reading, right? You got to get more focused on reading, educating yourselves. I got Pace's book up there, Wealth is Capital.
I saw it with a little.
That's a really good one. Another really, really good favorite book of mine is called The Go Giver. That's another good book by Bob Berg. I have books all through here. Like, just pick up a book and read, right? Take notes on what you read, and then look for ways you can apply what you read, what you wrote down, right? I think those alone, if you were to pick up just 1 or 2 good books a year, and you just don't give up on your business, you will start to see change happen, and you won't even recognize yourself, right? Because it happens that fast.
You expect it to happen in 2 months, 3 months. Good luck to you. It hasn't, I mean, I've done some lending, but I haven't had any assets yet, but I know I will. I'm not giving up. So Benjamin, thank you, dear. Definitely, stick-to-itiveness is huge, and getting with the right people, like Benjamin and John and everybody who's here. I want to say thank you. We'll sign off. Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
And one last thing, if anybody wants to get in contact with me, I am Eddy, Eddy Charger on all platforms. It's actually not just that flips anymore. I just realized that. That's crazy. We've been talking for an hour. I just saw that. But
I wanted to ask you about something, so I am going to stay for just a minute because I had you down for the host of the Money Ain't That Thing. Ain't a Thing.
Yes, our podcast. Yeah. So our podcast is really, really cool. It's essentially what we did is we built a master class. So we invite a guest on that is like actively making money in some sort of field, right? Real estate, business, restaurant, clothing, like whatever the field is. And we get them to do a master class in an hour. So they tell us about, their story, but more importantly, they tell us like 5 key things that you can do today to get started and make money the way that they would have if they were starting over.
Cool.
Right? Cool. And that's called Money Ain't a Thing. That podcast is up. You can follow us on YouTube or on all streaming platforms. Definitely give it a follow, give it a share. Obviously we appreciate it, but we're going to keep having some really, really solid guests come on. And Effie's going to be one of our guests once we get her portfolio up.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, everyone, I'm going to say thank you. If you don't subscribe already, please do. And here comes our outro.
Peace. See you guys.